We saw last class Jayadratha had gotten infatuated with Draupadi, and then this sense of we feel if we want something, we have a right to take it is incredible. Today we call it entitlement. And it can be at so many different levels. And really this in today, so much, we talk quite a bit about this entitlement in today. What makes people think they entitled to something? Like how is it so quickly in us? Right? Of course, we talk about it in terms of kids, but here we see Jayadratha. He's no kid. And yet the sense of if I want it, I feel I'm entitled to have it. Regardless that of right, wrong, and if it's another person, then obviously they have a say in it. But we feel, and Guruji used to say this, we feel we want the world to dance to our tune. And where we get the right to believe the world should dance to our tune, goodness only knows, because how can the world dance to our tune when the world is so big and I'm so small? And then sometimes I think about it like, there's the story of two ants talking, and one ant asked the other ant, do you know who God is? And so the other ant replied, God's a big ant in the sky with 4 antennas and 8 legs. Ants normally have 8 legs? 6, I think, right? So, and the idea being that every creature thinks God's that creature. But I'll often think like, when we feel we entitled to the whole world dancing to the way we want it to be, do the ants think that way? That the whole world should dance as, but like, everyone should drop sugar everywhere they go. Like, is the ant sitting there thinking, why are these humans not dropping more sugar? Where do they get off keeping all the sugar for themselves? Like, I'm sure they don't, right? Because they're not made with free will the way we are. Or maybe, like, we wouldn't really know, but we would definitely not think that the world should dance as per the ant's tune, or the duck's tune, or the, whatever. But yet we think it should dance to our tune. Yeah. Definitely not to some random animal's tune. Although some families do dance to the pet's tune. But so unaccommodating to other people. Like I'll see the whole family revolve around the pet, which is like amazing sometimes the extents they go to. Not all, but some. And then to accommodate another person that way? No. Should be my way. Can be the dog's way, but not your way. Like literally that's what's in the family, exactly that's the thing. I have actually seen that. But why? Because that person, the other person also has free will. We don't like that they have free will. They should listen to me. Entitlement. And there's no point in blaming the next generation for being entitled. We all pretty entitled. We all think the world should be the way we want it to be. And the other day, somebody said to me, the weather's been quite pleasant, right? The last few days. It should stay like this now. It should stay like this. Really, we can put in an order for the weather. Like, it should stay this way. Like, how amusing is that line? What are we talking about the weather? Like, who are we to get to order that the weather should be a certain way? entitled. We so entitled. Okay, so one, there's desire, and me having a desire, and then me understanding that it's me having a desire. Because entitled is, I don't understand that I have a desire. Entitled is me believing it should be this way. And so then that becomes tamas, it becomes rigidity. And I did a wonderful example of tamas just earlier. In alertness. But so tamas is in alertness, which was what I had done. But tamas is also this, that we become jada, inflexible. We're not able to adapt, or we're not able to change. We're not able to move. Literally, we're not able to move. Because if something's not going my way, I need to move my insistence or wanting of it to be that way. We talk about tamas, sattva, rajas, tamas very often in our scriptures. And when we understand the nuances of what they are, then it's easy for us to recognize when we are in tamas. So the minute we feel entitled, tamas. The minute we insistent on things without having flexibility, tamas. And so remember, this is an insistence where it's not got only to do with me, another person's involved, right? It's me eating something, you can be insistent as you want and you eat what you want. But when another person has to cook or another person has to go all the way to go and get it, then now it's not okay. Yeah. Now a little bit of adaptability, flexibility, all of that required. Okay. Jayadratha did tapas, and the Lord Shiva came and granted him a boon. And he asked that he defeat the Pandavas. And if you remember, Shiva said, you cannot defeat the Pandavas, for Krishna is with them. But the Lord doesn't leave you empty. So you can defeat the other four, but not Arjuna, and only when Arjuna and Krishna are not there. And so this is a really beautiful thing we see. So even we will ask for certain things, right? We'll ask the Lord, make me rich. Anything. I'm just using this as an example. And then let's say it's not there in our karma. We only did the karma. The consequences has to come to us now. But now we're asking Bhagwan to give us something that's not in line with our karma. So then Bhagwan is trying to think now how to give you what you want and how to make it fit. So very often we think we've asked God and he's not giving me. And then people get angry with God and then I don't believe in God, or they get bitter. But we don't realize that he gives. Jayadratha is not even asking a nice thing. And can I kill the Pandavas effectively? That's what he's asking. That's not even a nice thing. And yet, Bhagwan is accommodating. You can't kill them. You can beat them in the event that Krishna and Arjuna. So I'm giving you not exactly what you want, because what you want cannot be gotten. But do the best that I can give you, I'm giving you. We don't see how much Bhagwan's giving. And the reason we can't get what we asked for, it will be like what Jayadratha asked. Yeah. There's another law in place, doesn't allow that boon. Arjuna is surrendered to Krishna, and you cannot touch him now. I can want it as much as I want, but cannot touch him. Another law overrides this, and so I can't get it. So sometimes we'll ask also, and then it can't be achieved. What we're asking for can't be achieved because of our own karmas, or because it's something incredibly dharmic, or because, it is affecting other people and it doesn't match with the collective energy of the group or the karma of the group. So we can't get it. We'll only think, I didn't get what I meant. And then we'll ask for something and we get something else. And we think, he just doesn't listen properly. I said, I want. He heard just fine. But they were limitations. And so he will give to the best of his capacity within. And the limitations is not his. The limitation is ours, our karma. As per our karma, what we can and what we can't. So even something like, we'll say, I want to win the Olympics, but then we only too scared on the day. And so, ready, set, and they shoot, and then you're like, oh, then you didn't go. Now how you'll win? So whose limitation is that? Mine. There was Bhagwan all ready to make me win, yeah. So this he gives. He will give to the best of his ability what he can give us. So it's not like he doesn't give and he doesn't answer our prayers. And that's why we need to be really careful what we ask for. Because he's going to give. Jayadratha asked for this, which is not even a nice thing, and he got it. Yeah. We'll also ask for things that maybe aren't good for us, and then we'll get it. And that's why you'll see that, actually we're going to see now Yudhishthira. Whenever Yudhishthira has to ask, he's very careful what he asks for. Yeah. Guess what Yudhishthira will ask for when he gets to ask for a boon. Arjuna asked for weapons to win the war only, which is what most of us will do when we ask for a boon. Utility value things. Things we think will enhance our life. Devotees ask for usually devotional, not things. In fact, even in our puja, every puja we do, we take a sankalpa and we ask. We ask for Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagyam. Not a thing. We ask for virtues. If you're going to ask for a pure mind. Everything else will be taken care of. Okay. Jayadratha's incident, we will come back to. Unfortunately, we will come back to it. The 12 years are pretty much over. They are now a beautiful part of the Mahabharata comes. In fact, there's lots of sections in the Mahabharata that are like this, which are satsangs. We haven't gone too much into it because already Mahabharata is quite long. It's the longest epic, actually, written. So I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's long. They are out somewhere. I think they were all hunting. And so there's ample proof in the Mahabharata that they hunted and ate meat. This becomes very controversial because huge drive for vegetarianism. They were in exile. They couldn't farm the land. So they hunted. Yeah. Even there is in Valmiki Ramayana, Ramchandraji hunting while they were in exile. It's not very often quoted, but it is there. Should we be vegetarian? Most definitely. Why didn't they set the example? There's such different circumstances. And you know, those days when they hunted and they killed, they used every bit of the animal. They used the skin, they used the bones, they used the, they honored the creature. It went back to the earth. Everything went back to the earth. Yeah. It was one animal that was killed and then completely used. Today, what we do is very different. Today, we kill in masses and there's so much wastage. And really, ahimsa is this don't intend to hurt, don't harm, but also don't ruin the balance in nature. We've completely ruined the balance in nature. Yeah, whether it be the sea, whether it be animals, and even vegetables. Because we overuse that one patch of land. So we've destroyed the earth in so many different ways. Himsa, we hurt the earth. Killing one animal, honoring the animal, or honoring the earth, using every bit is not himsa. It's the spirit with which it's done, right? The gratitude with which it's also received. And today, hardly, yes, people pray before eating, but sometimes so mechanical also. There isn't that sense of, I've received, I am nourished. So they went hunting and then they got thirsty. So all 5 of them were together and they sent Nakula, you go get us some water. Nakula went to get the water. There was a yaksha at the lake. The yaksha said, you cannot drink the water without answering my questions. Nakula was very annoyed, drank the water. And the yaksha said, if you drink the water without answering the questions, you'll die. He died. Look at your faces. Look, in the Mahabharata book, we only this much. Don't get too scared. They can't die at this point. Nakula went. First Nakula went? No, first Sahadev went. Then Nakula went. The yaksha said the same thing. They were really tired. They were really thirsty. Who are you to tell me what to do? He drank. He also collapsed. Then who goes next? Beam. Because they figured those twins haven't come back. The twins are the youngest, right? So it's like these small boys didn't come back. We send the big guns. Sent Beam. The yaksha told Beam, you cannot drink the water. If you drink the water like your brothers, you will die. Beam started giving galis. Who are you to tell me what to do? Beam's so consistent. You have to love him. Actually, all of them are very consistent. But Nakula and Sahadev not listening to the yaksha is actually inconsistent. They're usually good. They would have usually listened, but maybe they were so thirsty. We get, no? Or maybe they were influenced by what had to be. Beam drinks, Beam collapses. Arjuna comes. This is also interesting because remember in the last class I told you, Yudhishthira can read omens. He knew exactly that Draupadi was in danger and they reached before anything could happen. Even prior to that, well, when was it? He read omens when somebody was, Beam was caught by the python. Right? He knew straight away Beam was in danger. So Yudhishthira is not reading any omens here. This is an unusual scenario because he's usually very, very good. He knows straight away that something's wrong. And he's usually able to protect them. Arjuna goes, the Yaksha says, yeah, firstly, when they come, they see their brothers on the floor, they're horrified, they're very angry. All Astras out. Remember, Arjuna has the Astra for every god possible. Every Devata has given Astras, and so he starts to fight with this Yaksha. He shoots one Astra after the other, but nothing's working against this Astra. So this Yaksha. So he's thinking, what's going on? And then, like I said, it had to be that they collapsed, because otherwise, even your Arjuna, if all the Astras are not working, light bulb should click, right? It didn't click. He drank the water. So they were meant to collapse. Finally, Yudhishthira comes. He sees his four brothers on the floor. He's devastated. He thinks we've spent 12 years, 13 years already just for this. This is no way. How am I going to see Draupadi? How am I going to see Kunti? Whole full meltdown he has. He forgot he's thirsty. Yeah, I can kind of understand if you see your... Then suddenly he remembers he's thirsty, so he goes and gets the water. The Yaksha appears and says, your brothers have died because they didn't listen and they wanted to drink without answering the questions. If you drink without answering the questions, you too will die. And he said, I'll do my best to answer the questions, but please tell me who you are. The Yaksha says, I'm a Yaksha. He's not a Yaksha. He's Yudhishthira's father, Yamraj. But he doesn't know this at this point. And we also don't know this at this point. But since I already know the story, I'm telling you. Then Yudhishthira says, but I want to see you if I'm going to talk to you. I want to be able to see you. So Yamraj takes this horrendous form. He looks very, very gross, unfriendly and unpleasant. But that doesn't bother Yudhishthira. And so he says, ask and I will answer. Now the section is quite long. Poor guy didn't get to drink water for quite a while. Because, like even just to read the section takes more than an hour. It's making me thirsty just thinking about it. Okay, so we usually study this section as a separate part. Even if people don't do the entire Mahabharata, they study this section. So the Yamraj is asking Yudhishthira these questions and Yudhishthira is answering. And I think I told you last time when the Python was asking questions, Yudhishthira answers so gently, humbly, thoughtfully. Like there's no iota of, I know. Or even there's no iota of, I'm right. Or if, like one of us, that's easy. Who doesn't know that? None of that. There's this real sense of, I wonder what the right word would be. Sincerity. A real sense of sincerity in doing justice to the question being answered correctly. That's what I think would be the right way. So to start with, I have done this a few times. We've even taught it to the teenagers in Bal Vihar. And even now when I read the questions, I can't remember the answer, even though I've read them before. They're not obvious answers. Also, I think there's more than one possible answer. Like last week when we were talking about ahimsa and dharma, right? Where it can be seen from different points of views. And so I don't think there's one right answer. But of course, Yudhishthira's is the best answer to that question. And I think that's why even sometimes when I've come back and I've read the question and I think, what would be my answer? Then I read and I think, oh, but mine is not bad. And then, but Yudhishthira never has that feeling that his answer isn't bad or his answer. Of course, he never gets told he's wrong. So we'll do a few of them. We'll do a few of these questions and see some of the answers. But I'll read out all, not all. I'll read out more than we will go into. We'll go into some elaborately. I'll read out a few more than we go into. What causes the setting of the sun? What causes the setting of the sun? Shall I make you all try and answer? Oh no, that's too hard. Make you all try and answer. What causes the setting of the sun? Not an easy question, no? Imagine Yudhishthira sitting at the pond with his brothers unconscious around him, talking to this ugly yaksha, having to answer such difficult, subtle questions. What causes the sun to set? So, scientific answer would be gravity. The Earth's gravity makes us see the sun as setting. What does Yudhishthira answer? Dharma. Dharma causes the sun to set. Why? It's the Earth's dharma to rotate on its axis. It's the dharma of gravity to make the Earth rotate on its axis. Everything happens the way it should happen as per its dharma. So beautiful, huh? Dharma is what makes the sun set. Earlier he asked what makes the sun rise. And the answer is Brahmaji. Why? Why different? Creation. It was created that way. If so, already the question came, what makes the sun rise? Brahmaji. What makes the sun set? Now you shouldn't answer Brahmaji again. If y'all were like my Balvihar children, 100%. If I said the answer to this, what makes the sun rise, Brahmaji, and then I say what makes the sun set, the whole class will say Brahmaji. But Yudhishthira knows. If he's asking this question, it's not going to be, the answer is not going to be the same. This is Yudhishthira's attunement. Because actually speaking, Brahmaji should be the right answer. Because if he makes it rise, he should make it set. But that's not what he'll answer. He thinks further. Brahmaji created as per Dharma. So now Brahmaji answer given. If he's asking the next question, I have to go deeper. So what makes the sun set? Dharma. Such a beautiful answer. Imagine if we can sit and watch a sunset thinking, this is Dharma. So beautiful Dharma becomes, right? Then me doing my Dharma is as beautiful as the sun setting. Actually, Yudhishthira doing his Dharma really is as beautiful as the sun setting. But what makes us learned? When are we considered to be well educated? This question is so important in today's world. When I have double PhD, I'm well educated. This one you all should be able to guess. What makes us well educated? Dharma. We are well educated when we understand what the scriptures say. One who has understood this Shruti. How do we acquire intelligence? I love this one. How do we acquire intelligence? Who's asking? Yamraj to Yudhishthira. By serving those who are old and rich in experience. You know, when COVID first happened in 2020, And I think it was Italy that got hit first badly. Lots of countries got, but they were one of the first ones that got hit really badly. And then there weren't enough hospital beds. And they had to make a call. And so I remember discussing in my Balviar classes, how do we decide now? Who gets the hospital bed? Who gets the treatment? Who gets the medicine? Who gets the, how to decide? And they said, the young people, because they live longer, because that's what I think Italy had decided. And so they seem to all agree that was the right decision. You just killed all your wisdom. It's the elderly that have all the wisdom. They're the ones with all the experience. I say this, we can't just say we have longer to live, we're more valuable. There's no way. So tricky, right? I'm not saying there's a right answer to that question. Okay, there's how to choose. That's the whole point. Every life is so precious. How to choose who gets the treatment. But how to acquire knowledge? Hang with those who are rich in wisdom, but here specifically, elderly. Young people don't want anything to do with old people because they lecture. Who wants to sit and listen to these boring lectures? So, note to old people, don't lecture. Note to young people, listen if they do. But we interesting. It's a but we'll see this like with Guruji. For those of you who have met Guruji, Swamiji. Guruji's what now? Swamiji is in his 60s. Guruji is in his 70s. And people love being around them. Everything they say is so wow. It's so insightful, or at least funny and amusing, if not insightful. What is heavier than the earth? A mother. Some of these questions seem to be quite poetic. What is higher than the heavens? Our fathers. So heavier than the earth, meaning in terms of value, not in terms of weight. Higher than the heavens, again in terms of value. Parents were given so much value in our scriptures. Not to say that parents are flawless. They have their vasanas, their personalities. But this is a very, very important part of our tradition, which is not as well understood, why we worship and honor and respect our elderly. Even though our parents are not perfect, and as adults we can see that they're not perfect, when we are grateful to them and when we do value them, then that ensures that we have beautiful relationships with our children. When we fault finding in our parents, when we become defiant and arrogant with our parents, we're ruining our relationship with our children. And so important for the family harmony and the sense of cohesiveness, so important for our sense of belonging. We totally undervalue how much we need to feel a sense of belonging. As human beings, we starved for feeling a sense of belonging. And we feel that sense of belonging with family. They have to love us. It's not optional. It's not negotiable, non-refundable, non-returnable. They have to love us. And that feeling gives us an incredible sense of belonging, which gives us an incredible sense of strength. And when we don't have it, we don't have that same strength. Doesn't matter if I fight with them. If I have the sense of belonging with them, I have strength. If I don't feel I belong, I have to find another way to get my strength. Whereas this is already there, born into it. It's there. And so our gratitude that we are born into something where we feel we belong, which gives us a sense of identity and gives us a sense of strength, is the reason why this immense respect that we give to elders. Are we saying they're perfect? No. But they'll have some good things. Because each one of us do. So then we hold on to the good thing. If we can't find anything, then you're not looking hard enough. When I first joined the ashram, I was a very different person. I've actually journeyed quite a bit. I'm not saying I'm humble now, but I was definitely very not humble then. Possibly I would say I was even arrogant. There was this one person, so Swamiji said this. Swamiji said this in the class that, you know, whoever it is you don't like or don't get along with, find just one thing nice about them. So there was this one particular person in the youth group itself. I sat and I thought really hard about it. No, not one thing. Can't find, not even one thing. Swamiji was highly amused and laughed. And of course, I knew it can't be true. Even as I said it, I knew it can't be true. And I knew it was me, my own stubbornness, that I wasn't willing to acknowledge any good quality. And my stubbornness was quite strong. It was very successful. So I still couldn't find any good quality, but he loved Gurudev. Okay, that will be his saving grace. I found one thing I was willing to acknowledge. I wasn't willing to acknowledge any other good thing about him. Only that he loved Gurudev. And that's, of course, because Gurudev's lovable. Like, you have to be really thick not to love Gurudev. But TK, he loved Gurudev. This is how stubborn I was in not wanting to find a good thing about this person. But holding on to just that one thing, he loved Gurudev, was enough. He is now redeemed from all his horribleness. He is now tolerable. So every time I looked at him, he loves Gurudev. Okay. Every time he said something, he loves Gurudev. Okay. That was my japa. Don't listen to anything he says. Ignore. Just only repeat, he loves Gurudev. After a while, it didn't even matter. He's there, he's not there, he spoke, he didn't speak. It didn't even matter. We just need that one thing to hold on to. And then with our parents, we're going to find more than one. We're definitely going to find more than one. And so this incredible, we need to know that when we respect the elderly, it's for our benefit. Yeah. It's not for their benefit. We really need to understand that. It's because we have a sense of belonging. It's because we, in the way we behave to them, create the relationship that we're going to have with the next generation. So in creating respect for them, we also create cohesiveness in our family with the next generation. And that's why, look at the place it's given. A father is given higher than heaven, and a mother, earth. Because, I mean, earth is very often linked in with mother. What is fleetier than the wind, faster than the wind? This one y'all should know. What's faster than the wind? Mind. Next one is thoughts. What is more numerous than grass? Such a nice question, no? Sand. Oh, see, I said there's more than one right answer. He answers thoughts. But when you think about more numerous than grass, can you imagine how many blades of grass there are on this entire planet? Not many in Hong Kong, but the rest of the planet. So many, right? More numerous than grass. Not all our thoughts put together, huh? Just one person is more numerous than grass. So faster than the wind, the mind, more numerous than grass is thoughts. What is the thing that is most praiseworthy? I found this question very interesting. No, I told you, very hard to answer. What is most praiseworthy? I didn't get it right. Skill. Although after I read it, I totally agree. Skill is most praiseworthy when we're able to acquire skill. Because actually everything's a skill. Even to love is a skill. Even to improve ourselves is a skill. The best kind of happiness. What is the best kind of happiness? This also you all should be able to answer. Some things you all should be able to answer. No? You're giving Vedantic answer, the one that never ends. Non-Vedantic answer. A smile. It's a cute answer. Contentment. This we familiar with, right? Best kind of happiness is content. What is the highest duty? This we did in the last class. Oi, we did it last week. What's the highest duty? What is the highest dharma? Ahimsa paramo dharma, correct. Ahimsa is the highest dharma. What do you have to control to never lead to regret? The mind, when controlled, will never lead to regret. What is that which, when renounced, makes one agreeable? This was also a nice. What makes us nice people? What do we have to renounce to become nice people? Pride. Pride, when renounced, makes us agreeable. Renouncing what does one become wealthy? It's close. Desire. Renouncing desire. One becomes wealthy. What is it when renounce leads to no regret? The past. Like I said, I think there can be more than one answer here. I think with Dharma, there is always that possibility. But here it's saying anger. Anger, renouncing anger. Then we don't live. What is the essential feature of forgiveness? To endure enmity. This is a really high form of forgiveness. Enmity. When somebody doesn't like me. To forgive the person even when they don't like me. To forgive them for not liking me. And who am I to forgive them for not liking me? That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is, I feel hurt. I blame you for my hurt. Therefore, I have to forgive you for the hurt that I am feeling. And then once I do, I realize you weren't to blame. I felt hurt all on my own. But since I blame you for my hurt, I have to forgive you for my hurt. And so that's why the essential quality of forgiveness is to be able to endure enmity. Somebody feeling like an enemy to me. What is mercy? What is compassion? Hard, right? These questions? They are. They're really hard. And imagine Yudhishthira's patiently answering without batting an eyelid. Mercy is wishing happiness for all beings. This is where Buddhism gets it from. Mahabharata happened before Buddhism. This is fact. I'm not saying it as a joke. It's fact. But we are very grateful for the Buddhists for popularizing compassion. They've really popularized it. It was not in fashion before Buddhism came along. Can you tell me what enemy is invincible? I thought this was a very interesting question. Again, I got the answer wrong. Let's see if y'all are better than me. Ourselves? Thoughts, mind? Y'all as good as me. Anger. Once anger is full blown, it defeats us. My own anger, once it's full blown. That's why we always taught to catch it before it becomes full blown, because once it's full blown, it defeats us. What is ignorance? That's also y'all should know the answer of. Thinking we are this body. Wow, y'all really Vedantically brainwashed. Y'all giving such Vedantic answers. I'm so proud of you as a Vedantic teacher. True ignorance is not knowing one's duty. These questions, when Dharma asks questions, these questions are based on Dharma, so it's everyday life. They're not Vedantic questions. Mahabharata is both a Dharma Shastra and Moksha Shastra, but this section is not a Moksha Shastra. It's about everyday life. That's why what's considered to be higher than the heavens is not Moksha, but Father. If it was a Vedantic question, what should be higher than the heavens, then it would be Moksha. But this is in my everyday life. How should I live? Then knowing my duties is what is knowledge. Not knowing what I'm supposed to do is ignorance. And that's why I said there's different ways of answering the questions. I don't think there's just one answer, but remember here it's being asked by Dharma, Dharmaraj, which is Yama, to understand the nuances of Dharma. What is charity? This I think we should make into a quote for all our Insta stories. What is charity? Come on, y'all know this. Y'all are all charitable people here. You're not wrong, sharing, but that's not the answer as per Dharma. Kind. Oh, y'all haven't understood what Dharma is. These questions are being asked by Yamraj to understand if you've understood the principle of the concept. Right? So what's the principle of forgiveness? You can hate me. It's okay. What's the principle of happiness? Contentment. What's the principle of charity? That is Dharma, correct. We give because we're taking. Yudhishthira's answer is protecting of all creatures. See how subtle it is. Even though you all said kind, charity is actually protecting all creatures. What is grief? I thought this was interesting also. This is actually a Vedantic answer. Pain of separation is grief. Very nice. That's an everyday answer. Yudhishthira's answer is ignorance. I told you this one was Vedantic answer. Chapter 2, verse 11 is the first verse where Krishna starts teaching. Ashochanan vashochastvam. Bhagavad Gita. First thing Krishna says is, you are grieving for that which should not be grieved for, need not be grieved for. Why? You're deluded. Only deluded people grieve. That's a slap across our face. Only deluded people grieve. This is my favorite. This is the one I remember. There's so many questions here. Like I said, there's a good 100 questions here. We're not going through all of them. This is the one that I quote the most often, but I actually haven't quoted it of late. What is the greatest wonder in the world? Death. Not quite death, but it's related to death. I will read out the answer because I quote it so often. Day after day, there enters into the temple of death countless lives. Looking on this spectacle, the rest of them, those who remain, believe themselves to be permanent, immortal. Can anything be more wondrous than this? Means day after the day we see death. Oh, we still think we're not going to die. When there's so much proof, we're still not convinced. But also, you can translate it as day after day we see death. Yet when it happens, we are surprised. How can we be surprised when it's happening daily? And yet whenever I hear somebody tell so-and-so passed away, I just spoke to him last week. I just met her at this. Like how did that happen? How did they die? We actually feel that way. I'm not talking about you. We all feel that way. But that's happening every day. How can we be surprised by it? Like, it's such a wonder that we can still be surprised by it. Such a wonder that it's inevitable, but we don't believe it. Like this, Yudhishthira answers many, many, many questions. And then the Yaksha says, I am pleased with you. So you can choose one of your brothers and I will bring him back to life. Who will Yudhishthira choose? You know it's not going to be the obvious answer. What would be the obvious answer? Arjuna, because he'll win the battle. But actually, if we had a choice, who would we choose of our family members? Huh? The elder ones? The little ones? Oh, you like Italy? We'll choose our favorite, right? Do y'all know who Yudhishthira's favorite is? Bhim. Most of us will choose our favorite. Now we know Yudhishthira's not going to do that. He's not going to choose his favorite. We know he's not going to choose Arjuna. Do we know that? Do we know he's not going to choose Arjuna? How do we know this? Huh? Because you read the Mahabharata before. There's a trick.
He knows it's a trick question.
It's not a trick question. Oh, maybe it was a trick question. But he answered all the other questions correctly. He chooses Nakula. Why? Actually, the Yaksha only asked him. The Yaksha only says, if you had chosen Arjuna, you would still have won the war. Why did you choose Nakula? And Yudhishthira answers, my father had 2 wives. I will continue the lineage of Kunti. It is only right that the lineage of Madhavi also continues. And so I choose Nakula. How proper is Yudhishthira? There's a war to be fought, he doesn't choose Arjuna. His favorite is Bhim, he doesn't choose Bhim. Although Bhim has fought with him a lot in the last 12 years. The Yaksha says that he is incredibly happy with Yudhishthira and revives all 4 brothers, which you all know was going to happen because the Mahabharata war still has to be fought. And they drink the water. And then Yudhishthira says something very interesting. Yudhishthira says, who are you really? Because not many people would know the subtlety of Dharma to know the right answers to those questions. Now, this is the first time you see Yudhishthira praising himself. Basically, Yudhishthira is saying, I know enough of Dharma to know the answers, and I also know enough to know not many other people know it. So who are you that you know it? And so the Yaksha reveals himself to be Yudhishthira's father. Now, Yudhishthira has just answered, what is higher than the heavens? Father. So you can imagine how happy Yudhishthira is. Yudhishthira is like, we don't have to fight the war. We don't need the kingdom back. I have met my father. Life is good. He's bowing down 300 times. He's holding on to the feet. He's seeking blessings. And so this bit is really nice. Like this exile is finishing and it's Bhim gets to meet Hanumanji. Arjuna gets to meet his father, Indra. And here Yudhishthira gets to meet his father, Yamraj. And so happy, so happy, so happy. And now Yamraj blesses Yudhishthira with a few things. So extra boons. In addition to giving the four brothers' lives back, he says, your 1 year in incognito will start. And I bless you that y'all will not be recognized. Because remember the game of dice said, for 1 year, they have to be incognito. If they recognize, they have to go back for another 13 years and do another year in incognito. So to get a boon that they're not going to be recognized is pretty much, don't worry, your 14 years are done. So they've already received so many people bless them that they're going to win the war. Hanuman already blessed Bhim, they're going to win the war. Indra already blessed Arjuna, they're going to win the war. Shiva already blessed Arjuna that they're going to win the war. But this 1 year incognito was left. So Yamraj, you see Yamraj, he's very thorough. Everyone else forgets the details. Yamraj doesn't forget the details. Please note Yamraj doesn't forget the details. Please note he's watching over everything. Please also note that when you want the details, so, and he tells Yudhishthira that it will go smoothly. Actually, the 1 year incognito goes extremely smoothly. Oh, actually, no. There is one incident. Almost it goes smoothly, but then, you know, that's life. Life almost goes smoothly. There has to be a few bumps, otherwise it's not life. It wouldn't be the Mahabharata. It was. Okay, then he gives this interesting boon. These are extra boons. You know, like sometimes when you were very frequent shopper at a shop, then when you go shop, then they give you so many extra gifts. Post-COVID, they're doing this a lot to boost the economy. He says in Kali Yuga, which is now, so this is applicable to us, there will be 4 names that purify the heart of the people who says it. These 4 names will be holding the maximum amount of power in Kali Yuga. Yeah. Before I say these 4 names, the name that holds the maximum amount of power in all 4 yugas, so including in Kali Yuga, is Ram. So that goes without saying. Kali Yuga, of course, Ram's name will be maximum power because that's Naraji's boon to Lord Vishnu. Which is another story which we can't go into because, you know, time just won't permit. But now this Yamraj is giving a boon, or actually, yeah, not a boon because he's giving 4 names. So he's stating a fact. So he's saying, Yudhishthira, you are so, okay, so again, I was saying this the other day. Only that which is pure can purify. Makes perfect logical sense. Only that which is pure can purify. Yudhishthira is so pure that in Kali Yuga, Yudhishthira's name, when we say it, purifies us. And that's what Yamraj is saying. So what are the 4 names that hold maximum power in Kali Yuga to purify our minds? Is Nala, whose story we don't know very well. Yudhishthira, Sita. Why? It has to be that pure. Because in Kali Yuga, there's a lot of dirt. So to get purified in Kali Yuga, the thing needs to be that pure. Yudhishthira is that pure. Who else? Sita. If you think of how much Yudhishthira endures, Sita endured. Nobody calls Yudhishthira weak. Well, Beam. So quick people are to call Sita weak. We don't really understand sexism. She's not weak. Her ability to endure as much as she endured makes her one of the names that purifies. Means she's so strong that she was able to stay so pure that her name purifies. And her name comes before Ram's. We sing Sitaram. Even in the Jaykar, we say Siyavararam. So pure that her name comes before his. Sita's name. So, Nala, Yudhishthira, Sita, and the last one you'll have to be able to guess. Come on, make me proud. How to say no to Hanuman, but it's not Hanuman, it's Krishna. It's the Mahabharata, guys. It has to be Krishna. These are the 4 names that purify us the most in Kali Yuga. And then Yudhishthira says something so sweet. I don't mean to sound greedy, but can I ask for a boon, please? Because he's giving boon after boon, but that's not what Yudhishthira wants. Yudhishthira doesn't want to be the name that's the most famous and the most purifying. He doesn't want to. So the father is very amused. Like, what beta, what you want? What will Yudhishthira ask for? Come on. Think, think, think. Draupadi? No. To stay in satsang? Yeah. Bhagavatam answer. He didn't even have to ask for that. He was permanently in satsang. Yudhishthira was Santa already himself. May I defeat the 6 enemies of my mind. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada. Do you know what Yamraj answers? I cannot give you what you already have. Yudhishthira asked for that. Yeah. So they all get the blessings of Yamraj. And then they proceed, for they're here in incognito. Back to story next week. This week we did Yaksha Prashna. Really beautiful part of the Mahabharata. Any questions? I think there was one last week that I didn't get to answer. I've forgotten it. tamas.
Chose Nakula. He didn't say Sahadev because it was popular.
Between Nakula and Sahadev, why did he choose Nakula? I wondered that myself. They twins, so I don't think it was older and younger as much as Sahadev was. Sahadev ate that piece of from the ant, and he was able to see the future, and then he couldn't really reveal it or talk. So this is my opinion. This is not fact. I'm guessing it's Nakula would have led more of a everyday life. Whereas Krishna made Sahadev promise. He wouldn't say anything, right? Until somebody asked him a direct question. So Sahadev was very quiet. In fact, it's a proverb in a lot of the local languages. When somebody is very quiet and doesn't talk to people and sits on their own in a corner, they'll say, he's one Sahadev. It's actually an idiom. So Sahadev was very, very, not aloof, but not very social because he made that promise not to say anything. He knew too much. He couldn't say anything. So he kept it by himself. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's why he chose Nakula. More chatty, I'm guessing.
So actually, Sahadev would have known this is going to happen.
Sahadev would have known this is going to happen. That's probably why he drank the water happily. No, but even Arjuna drinking water, it was Yamraj wanted them all to be there. Until Yudhishthira came, Yamraj was going to do whatever was needed. He wanted basically to meet his son, right? So the others were going to drink the water. It was Yamraj's world. Can't really fight with Yamraj. There's just no winning. I mean, he's Yamraj. Yeah. Okay. So next week we shall see. Next week, let's see only fun stories because it's Diwali time already. We won't do the sad bits. Yeah. Was there anything I'm forgetting? Oh, well, if there is, you're not meant to know it. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.